We just saw the Thunderbolts, and we have some thoughts on this movie.
Yes, we do.
All right, okay, go.
Starting transmission.
Hey everyone, this is JD and my friend Gabe, and we just saw Thunderbolts, and you know what? We're going to break down our thoughts on this movie. And to let you know, this is a spoiler-filled review of the movie. So before we get started into the review, I just want to let everybody know that May is actually Mental Health Awareness Month, and this movie actually kind of, brings that to light, and it brings it to light in a big way. It's to let everybody know that if you are suffering from any type of mental illness, make sure you reach out for help. I'll put the number down here for the hotlines. You know, it's very important. Without further ado, we'll just jump on into our review of the movie. Gabe, what were some of your initial thoughts on the movie?
Well, my initial thoughts were I really liked the movie. It was like 2 hours long, and it just flew by. Like, it felt like a 40-minute movie. The action was really good. The performance by Florence Pugh was probably the standout performance of the entire movie. It was almost like a Black Widow Part 2.
Yeah, I would agree.
It kind of centered around her primarily, with the other characters kind of being like side characters a little bit until they go into their backstories. Pacing is really good. Like I said, 2-hour movie, felt like 40 minutes, but they just kept you moving along with like important parts of the story. It felt like everything they brought up was important, and they wanted you to pay attention to like every beat of the movie because it's all leading to somewhere. What about you?
All right, so my first thoughts on the movie were, you know what, the cast did an amazing job in the movie. I think they did a brilliant job. These are characters who are coming from either a Marvel TV show or a Marvel movie. Not a really good Marvel movie in that sense, but one of the lesser known ones. And I think they all did a pretty good job bringing these characters into life. They did a really good job of giving you the backstory for each of these characters. So that way you don't really have to do your homework and go watch Falcon the Winter Soldier, have to go watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, crazy movie that was, or Black Widow. You could actually go ahead and not watch any of those movies and still get to understand who all these characters are. Also, in addition to that, is that we also, like Gabe said, is that the pacing of the movie is really great. Cinematography is really good. And this is a movie that, I think it brings back Marvel to more of phase 2 Marvel. Not really phase 1 yet, but I think about phase 2 of Marvel.
Yeah, like not the latter part of phase 2, but probably the middle part of phase 2.
Yeah.
Like, this was probably the best phase 4 movie outside of the Spider-Man movie.
It's actually phase 5.
Oh, phase 5.
This is the So this is actually phase 5. This what's it called? Ironheart ends phase 5, and phase 6 begins with Fantastic Four.
Oh, I wasn't aware they were done with the multiverse saga.
They're not done with it. So phase 6 is pretty much a short run of just the Avenger movies, tying up all the loose ends.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, those are our first initial thoughts of the movie. Let's go ahead and talk about the cast of the movie. So Florence Pugh is the main character in the movie. We follow her journey mostly throughout the movie. We last saw her in Hawkeye, where she learned about her sister dying, and she's trying to recover from that mental state. She's depressed. She's realizing that she can't find happiness anymore. She doesn't find any joy of murdering people, essentially. Mm-hmm. And she's ready to find something else. So
she's stuck in a rut. Like, she has the same things happening day in, day out, it kind of seems. She gets a call from Valentina.
Yeah.
Go kill this person. Come home to nobody.
Yep. Oh no.
Basically, she's depressed. But going back to the mental health aspect of the movie, there's a lot of depression with the characters. Yelena in particular, again, she's going through the same beats of her life day in, day out, and she's not getting any fulfillment out of it. Just killing people over and over again is really dragging her down. She has no one to go home to, so she's alone. Mm-hmm. She has no one to talk to.
I wonder what he was doing. Pretty much after that, Elena goes and sees her father, the Red Guardian, played by David Harbour. Yes. And David Harbour is actually like the comedy relief of this movie.
He's the best character in the entire movie.
I don't know what's going on. With all the sadness and depression and that Elena's going through, she ends up going to go see her father, who's Red Guardian, played by David Harbour. Mm-hmm. and I think he is probably one of the most standout comedic parts of the whole movie.
Yeah, he's definitely the comedic relief of the whole group. He's my favorite character personally. He just brought life to the movie. His like, well, first his care for his daughter like shines through immediately as soon as he hears her knock at the door. Um, and he's not living his best life either. He's I guess unemployed or running a limousine business,
Yes.
and he's like cleaning up his apartment. It's just very messy. He's looking very unkept. Um, he kind of looks like the Big Lebowski a little bit.
Yeah.
They didn't go full Thor with him, but
No.
you get the reference.
You do.
Yeah, but as soon as those two characters are on screen together, their eyes are both lit up. They have an instant connection, which you can tell the actors did a great job trying to portray that type of relationship between the two characters. But again, once he's in his full Red Guardian outfit, the helmet, not the shield, I really want to see the shield.
Personally. I know. You should have the shield. You had the shield in the movie, I think, and Black Widow didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so we didn't get one in this one.
No. But like again, he comes alive. He's basically the cheerleader of the team, if you will. Trying to get everybody to stick together, to do anything.
Yeah.
Cracking jokes.
He's like the optimistic character in the whole movie.
Yeah,
he's like pure optimistic in a movie that's filled with a lot of dark emotional stuff. He's like the main optimistic character in the whole movie.
This movie is very depressing if you stop to think about it a little bit.
Yeah. And then so another part of the Thunderbolts, we had John Walker, who is played by Wyatt Russell. He's the son of Kurt Russell.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, and
I've totally seen his face. Too. I'm stupid.
He is such a great actor. He plays like the jerk character of the bunch. He has a lot of the one-liners. He's kind of an a-hole, and you know what? He's a lovable a-hole. Pretty much by the end of it,
Kind of.
he was the one who thought he was going to be Captain America.
Yeah.
Ended up falling through with that. Like that whole thing backfired on him, and he's living in the past where he's like reliving the day that he murdered somebody, and he went crazy and basically was like kicked out of the service and just like everything like that in that sense. The next big one will be Sebastian Stan,
Yes.
who plays Bucky Winter Soldier, who is the only actor besides Loki to play in every single phase of the Marvel movies so far.
Oh, wow, you're right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, Thor's not even in all the phases, and he's only in phase up to 5 or up to 4, and he's not in this phase at all. It's phase 5, which started with Ant-Man and Quantumania. Since then, he has not been in any other movies.
Which phase is Doomsday in?
Doomsday will be in 6.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So, yeah, he's the only actor that hasn't been in anything. It's just so crazy to think about. As he's played the character as a bad guy, as a good guy, as a hero, as a sidekick, and here he is, kind of pretty much leading the team. It's so weird having him as a senator too. It's such a weird character for him.
Yeah, that character changed in Captain America 4.
Yeah.
I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. It's just I can see where they wanted to take that character.
Yeah.
Like you can see him trying to do right by like all his past mistakes.
Yeah.
But it's just not the fit for that character.
Yeah, and I think by the time we get to the post-credit scene, I don't think he's senator anymore.
I don't think so either.
Or representative. I don't remember, is it representative or senator? I don't know. Anyways, it's not important. He's a congressman. Yeah. Not a very good one.
No, it's pretty terrible.
That's Bucky. You see, he's already dealing with his past. You saw that in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So this movie doesn't really touch on his past much.
He was just kind of there, honestly.
Yeah.
He didn't really do much. He gave one speech.
Got them all together.
Yeah. But he was, I don't know, he was just kind of there. Yeah, he had his moments. He had his superhero moment. They all did, but I don't know. I just really felt like they put Bucky in here to put him in here.
I agree, and to tie him into the rest of the universe. The next time we have Hannah John Kamen. She plays Ghost or Ava. You know what? Considering that her character is very forgettable in Ant-Man and the Wasp, you know what? She's pretty likable in this movie.
Yeah, they gave her enough scenes to kind of reestablish her character. Like a little bit of a soft reboot for her.
Yes.
Yeah, she had good moments with everybody actually.
Yeah.
She had a lot of lines, a lot of character growth. Her powers were more kind of redefined. I don't remember the minute time limit in the Ant-Man 2.
I don't think she has that. I think that's probably a new addition they did to give her that, so she wouldn't be able to just crawl through walls and do all that stuff.
Okay, makes sense.
But yeah, her she's in there. She's the only one with superpowers until we get to Bob. She does bring a different type of like there's type of heroism to the story. She is there to essentially be, I don't know, like kind of like easy way out of bad situations. She just so happily was able to go through a wall. She was able to get a car because she can turn invisible. So
Hmm.
so it's kind of like she's just there to help, fill in those kind of those simple plot holes where how do they get from A to B.
Hmm.
But I liked her as a character in the movie. I think she did a pretty good job. So I'm kind of curious what they're gonna do with her in Doomsday too. All right, and then we have Olga Kurylenko. I think is how to pronounce her last name. I could be butchering that crazy. She plays Taskmaster, and I'll say this right now. She has like the biggest part in the movie. She is like she like steals the scenes that she's in. She
Phenomenal acting ability. Like
yeah,
when we tell you Oscars should be thrown at this movie, oh my God.
no. She okay. I'll put it this way. Like I said, spoilers in this review. In the trailer, the scenes you see her in are pretty much the only scenes you see her in. There's a reason why the asterisks went from 6 to 5 on the posters. You do not see her that
I
much.
didn't notice that. Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
wow.
original font had 6, so they changed it to 5, so it's only 5 now.
To be fair, I mean, the choreography, the fight choreography with her in it was very good.
Oh yes, the whole scene, the whole fight scene's really good.
Yeah, like her one fight scene in the whole movie was very good. I don't really know that she was copying their movements that well, but she kind of did, I guess. I don't know.
No, yeah, she kind of did, but like I said, she just kind of was kind of a little wasted in a sense.
Yeah.
She was there to be somebody to be fodder for basically that one scene.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I guess kind of like Suicide Squad esque. Somebody
Yep.
had to die, so she was the fortunate, unfortunate, whatever person that
Yeah.
they got rid of.
Just like Javelin and James Gunn's Suicide Squad, or
Yeah.
or the knots guy. I forget what his name was. He had like all the knots, the
Oh, Ripcord?
ripcord. Yeah, I think it was from the first Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm gonna escape, and boom, his head blows off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's her role in this movie. So, not much to talk about on her part. She's there and she's gone, and we can move on from there.
Yeah.
All right, Lewis Pullman plays Bob. What was your opinion on him?
I love Bob. He was a great actor in this movie. He kind of felt like I don't know, just my personal opinion, I felt like they toned him down a little bit because I felt like he could have stole the whole show if he was given more time. Because there's like so many characters, it was trying to focus on every character and show like their plight in the movie. But outside of Elena, I think the the major character was Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Reynolds, is that the
Yeah,
character's name?
Robert Reynolds. Yes.
The Sentry. I'm impressed in Marvel's ability to take a character's very convoluted backstory from the comics and cram it in this movie in a way that kind of makes sense. And I say kind of because they didn't quite explain all the intricacies of
The Void.
Yeah, of the Void, which I thought was a split personality, but you're saying it's a demon?
Yeah. So in the comics, it's like so the character is like essentially what do you do if a super soldier serum is given to somebody who has a split personality or like is bipolar or something along those lines, and that manifests itself as the void. So and the void is kind of like the what's it called, like the depression on your shoulders, the addiction demons on your shoulders kind of thing. So that's who that is. And in this movie, they did a really good job of showing that here's a guy that was brought up by turmoil who wants to do good, but his demons are pretty much holding him back. And
they follow him like throughout his whole life.
Yes.
It's like the very human aspect of this movie, which I also appreciated. With all the characters, they show like everybody has their demons, and your demons will follow you if you don't try to address that in a healthy manner.
Correct. Yeah, and and his power levels, he's supposed to be super powerful. I'm kind of glad they kind of toned down his powers, just so he's not like, cause he's supposed to be like Superman level, and and then they kind of brought that down. I was kind of disappointed with the fact that when he is shadowing people and everything, putting in the shadow realm, he they all come back. I mean, New York City, the whole city goes under and everybody gets shadowed. But I'm like, I kind of wish I could see some people die. Like, guess what? Everybody lived. I mean, the shocking part was with the little girl when she gets shadowed after Red Guardian saves her.
Yeah,
I was like, oh shit, this is real stuff.
Yeah, that was like
stakes are high.
Yeah, that was the stakes are high moment of the movie.
And unfortunately, that kind of, in my opinion, kind of takes away at the end when everybody's like, everybody's alive.
Well, I
Oh,
mean,
everybody
they had
died.
to save the day. This new team of superheroes had to save the day.
We'll get there. We're going too far ahead.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyways, yep. Louis Pullman does a great job as Bob. He's like a little childish because you actually see that he is kind of a child in his mind, and you see him revert back to that childlike mind when he's not the Sentry and everything. And you know what? Costume for the Sentry was
You didn't like it?
I don't know. Look,
But that was the purpose of it.
I
It's like
know.
he was supposed to be like
flying
the poster boy superhero
for the
like,
new Avengers or whatever.
yeah, like he was actually manufactured
Yes.
as like a new superhero to be shown to the American audience. Here's your savior.
Yeah.
And so I understood that, and so I liked his gaudy costume because that was the purpose of it. What I appreciated about Bob in the movie was they used him to kind of describe like how mental health is a serious issue for everybody, and kind of like try to take it seriously because as we saw with the character, he was dealing with like a lot of crap, a whole lot of very bad stuff.
Yep.
And he never dealt with it. He became a meth addict. He traveled around a lot.
Yep.
He was in Malaysia when they picked him up for the experiment. But he's a very troubled individual, like all of the Thunderbolts, New Avengers, whatever we're going to call them. But I appreciated them at least skimming the surface of mental health issues, and they kind of got to a somewhat healthy conclusion for Bob, because like when he finally confronted his other half, the Void. He finally mounted him. He was punching the Void. So when he was punching the Void was trying to take him over.
Yeah.
But that's when Yelena, through the help of Alexei, got through and tried to. She said like, "I'm here," because they also had a strong connection together, which I felt was forced. But
A little bit.
yeah. But again, like she got to him first to try to get him to calm down.
Yes.
And then the whole team came and stopped him and pulled him back.
Yep. Yeah, the big hug, the big "We Are Groot" hug.
And I liked the visual of that because it's like you shouldn't have to deal with all of the bad things that have happened to you by yourself. You should feel comfortable reaching out to somebody for help. And I liked how the visual of everybody coming to him to help him. That was really good in my opinion.
I agree. This is a movie we're dealing with mental health, and in this sense, he is struggling by himself. You know, Elena is struggling by herself. The Red Guardian is struggling by himself. You know, all these characters are struggling with some kind of form of mental health, and then it's them joining forces together and kind of coming together and being like, you know, we're here for each other. We're here together. We're here to help each other, basically, and that's what pulls them out of the void and basically saves the day in a way.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the visual of them helping him. I really appreciated Marvel, Disney, whoever okayed that portion be included in this movie.
Yes, I would totally agree with that. Yes. Other than that, the other cast members, you got a lot of minor characters. You got Julie Dreyfus as Valentina again,
Who was terrific.
She is so great as a villain and good, like a really dark, evil villain too, like who's manipulating everything behind the scenes. Anyway, so she did a great job. I liked her as a villain, as like the new Nick Fury villain, Nick Fury. So
yeah, Madam. Well, she was Madam Hydra in the comics, right?
Yes, yeah, her character I think is one of the versions of Madam Hydra.
She played Valentina very well, like John said. Conniving, evil person. She has no redeeming factor in her at all. And the ending was a little bit predictable, but it fit the characters so well.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into like some of the special effects and like the stunt work for this movie. Special effects wise, I want to say that this movie actually doesn't use much special effects in the like over CGI characters.
Yeah, I'd agree. Well, I mean, there were some of the fight scenes where you could tell. I'm pretty sure if we saw it again, we'd be able to pick out like the little the edits that they do, or like the city backdrops and all that.
I mean, that you have that normal stuff that they do to edit the background, but like, you know, in Marvel movies, there usually is a giant CGI monster. This is a very human story, very human characters,
Yes, very
and
street level.
Even though Sentry is flying and when he's the void, he's a complete shadow, and you only see his glowing white eyes, which I love a lot about that
Yeah,
part.
that was really cool.
It pretty much, you don't see much like CGI used in as for a villain or anything like that.
No, there was no
It's
giant sky beam. There was
Yeah.
no, like you said, no monsters. All the explosions and the fight choreography looked pretty practical.
yeah,
Um,
and I think that goes really good with the stunt team on this movie, who did an amazing job with the movie.
yes.
I mean, like the opening sequence, you've probably seen this stuff online where they actually had Florence Pugh fall off the side of the building, and that was all done with stunt work. And the stunt team on this movie did a great job, I think, with the choreography of the fight scenes, with the like all the action fight scenes. There's one fight scene where they're like looking overhead and you're watching her fight everybody. That's really cool. And then you got like just a bunch of different types like that that are just like work really well overall in the movie.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and we're going to talk about the end credit scenes and what we think they mean. So there's two end credit scenes. There are two post credit scenes actually. One's a mid credit, and it's a very much jokey scene, and it's with Red Guardian trying to. They're on the Wheaties box. That's a running joke in the movie, and yeah, he finally gets on the Wheatie box, and it reminds me of the scene from Avengers when they go eat shawarma.
Yeah,
At the end, it's that kind of a joke.
yeah. It's just a little throwaway joke of him trying to get this random shopper in the grocery store to recognize him on the cover of the Wheaties box.
Yep.
He brought that up early in the movie where he was trying to talk Elena out of her depression.
Yep.
Trying to get her to follow a new path, being a hero, to at least be selfless with her work. And he brings up how he he wanted to be on the Wheaties box, right?
Yes, he wanted to be on the Wheaties box. Yes.
So he finally wound up on the Wheaties box.
Yeah.
But of course, he's got an inflated ego, and
Yep.
he needed this lady to recognize him without a helmet on and without the beard.
Yes. It's a funny little joke.
Yeah,
It's a little
funny.
side joke. But now into the real one, the end credits scene. Now, this one, I think this is the one that's going to tie us to Doomsday and everything going forward.
Definitely.
So it jumps 14 months in the future, which I think is very important because now we're a year and 2 months out,
Yeah.
which is, I guess, about the time when Avengers Doomsday comes out almost. So the movie's coming out in May 2026. It's about 14 months ish, give or take. So I think that's what we're going to see this movie, and we get to see how the news. All right, so we do find out what the asterisk means in this movie. I probably should explain that too. The asterisk means that the team is now considered the new Avengers. In the comics, we do get a set of new Avengers because after the Avengers break up, we get the new Avengers, we get the Mighty Avengers, we get some other weird Avengers, the Dark Avengers. We got the West Coast Avengers. We get all this bunch of group of Avengers. In this movie, we have the new Avengers, and that's what this new team is. Red Guardian, you got Bucky, you got Elena, you got U.S. Agent, Ghost, and Sentry.
Or Bob.
Bob. He's pretty much Bob right now. They go to their new headquarters, and they're all in new costumes, which are kind of gaudy in a way. They're kind of like over the top. Red Guardian. I know Red Guardians. Red Guardians is really gaudy.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Winter Soldier has the giant, like the cross, the star on his shoulder now.
Oh, I didn't miss that.
Yeah,
Really?
he has a giant red star.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
Yeah, so they have all these costumes now, and they're like kind of upset with Sam Wilson because he won't let them use the Avengers name. And I guess Sam Wilson is now trademarking the Avengers name. It's so funny.
That's a silly line.
Oh, and then Red Guardian comes into the scene, and he's trying to get away from the trademark by calling it the new Avengers with a Z.
Avengers Z.
And he has
got
new
this-
costumes.
Yeah, this gaudy jumpsuit with
Sponsors and everything.
sort of tied logo right on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And some other logos.
It's like a race car jumpsuit.
Yeah, it looked like a race car jumpsuit,
It's so
tie-dyed, horrible looking. He's got these goofy shades on, trying to convince everybody to
Dressed like
join
him.
Yeah, and he has them well made for them too.
Yep.
Even one for Bob. I love Bob so much.
Bob's a great character in this one. And yeah, so that's pretty much. So then we know there's something going on in outer space too. They mentioned that something bad's happening, but nobody's telling them what's going on. And then pretty much the last scene, we see Elena's able to open up a computer screen, and we see that a ship is approaching Earth, and it's an interdimensional ship. So it's from another dimension. And then we get the big reveal that the ship is
The Fantastic Four.
Yep. So now we have our first inclusion, the Fantastic Four in the MCU, and now it's arriving on Earth, and now, hey, we got Doomsday, setting up Doomsday now.
Yep.
And that's pretty much the thing is, and this is the first time we're seeing that now we're getting that build up to now Doomsday.
Yes. We are officially on our march to Doomsday.
Yes, we got a year to go, and we have one new movie, Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man between now and Doomsday.
Is that it?
Yeah, right now it's all they've announced in our TV shows, Wonder Man and Ironheart.
Oh wow. Well, it's what everybody wanted, I guess.
So it'd be very interesting to see what happens now going forward till Doomsday.
Before we get to that, I wanted to talk about how we led up to the reveal of the new Avengers.
Okay, yes.
Because after the Thunderbolts previously managed.
Why was it called the Thunderbolts?
Oh, Yelena was a part. Well, they had this whole discussion where John Walker brought up captain of his high school football team or something like that for 2 or 3 years in a row or something. And then Yelena, just joking, because they were trading barbs with each other. It's like early on in the movie. She brought up her soccer team, which her father kept a picture of, and they were called, I forget the whole title, but the Thunderbolts.
Yep.
Because they were sponsored by an electric company.
Well, they kept fighting. Was it an electric car company or a tire company? They kept going back and forth about that. And instead of it being based off Thunderbolt Ross, which in the comics, the Thunderbolts get their name from, this movie basically pretty much says, no, Thunderbolts is based, they called themselves that based off the soccer team that Yelena was on.
Mm-hmm. And I think when Red Guardian rescued them from the field or desert, wherever they were, he wanted to just call them the Thunderbolts because he loves his daughter.
Yes, exactly. And then eventually from there, so the big reveal in the scene is that we know that Valentina is being, in this movie, she's being looked at by Congress. They're going to impeach her and get her out of office as
CIA office.
As the director of the CIA. And so they're doing all this investigation. That's what's leading the whole movie, because it's the investigation into what she was doing with this company, Oxon. I think it was Oxcorp or Oxcorp. Oxcorp.
It's not Oscorp.
No, Oxcorp. Something like that.
Like Oxcon or something.
Yeah, and so she's working for this company, and they were trying to build basically super soldier serum, and we find that's who Sentry is. That's where he comes from, that project. So they're trying to basically impeach her from that director of the CIA, and now she's trying to save face. So when these heroes come out from behind the scenes, that's where she reveals their new name.
I mean, first she was early in the movie. She wanted this big press conference set up where she was going to debut the Sentry.
Oh yes.
The Sentry turned on her with Psycho, let his void half out. The Thunderbolts managed to hug it out with him, get him to calm down a little bit.
Yes, we are a group.
Yeah, we're a group, we're a team.
Yep.
They came together, pulled him out of it, saved everybody. And then when they were going to arrest Valentina, she tricked them into following her through this makeshift curtain to a huge group of cameras and news people.
Yep.
And to which she revealed the team's new name.
The New Avengers. And that's how we got the name. So now they're considered the New Avengers. So now Thunderbolts, Asterix, is now the New Avengers.
That's a cool title reveal, too.
It was. Yeah, that was a nice way to roll that into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know, that was pretty cool. Everybody thought they were going to be the Dark Avengers. But in hindsight, why would you call your team Dark Avengers?
How would you plaster that on billboards in Wheaties box?
We're the Dark Avengers. The bad guy Avengers. Yeah, I like the New Avengers. I like them doing that way. That's kind of cool. They're a secret ops type of team that does all the dirty work. I like that with this team.
And they had their superhero moment, too, at the end of the movie when pieces of buildings are falling on people. They all jumped in to save and move people out of the way. Yep. It was an awesome scene where it was Alexei, Winter Soldier, Ghost, and Yelena trying to... they did successfully move this huge cement block from crushing
a woman.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the team became a team in that moment.
Yeah.
And they become they pretty much become the team fully when they actually join Yelena into the Void to save Bob. And then that's pretty much when they all joined forces. So now for the ranking in the movies. Next, we're going to do the Figgy Pop film chart. And this chart, it basically ranks, it goes from not fun to fun. So how fun the movie was, as we saw it today. And then the bottom chart tells you how bad the movie was, how good it was. So you can always have a bad movie, but have it be really fun. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, those type of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can have something be really good, like Saving Private Ryan or Schindler's List,
Mm-hmm.
which is a really good movie. It's not a fun movie to watch.
No.
But you know what I mean? That's kind of how the chart goes. Yeah, so that's how this chart's read here. And I'm going to actually place this movie up on the chart. It was a really fun movie to watch.
Mhm.
Like I said, Marvel back to his best. And on the good side, there's some better movies out there right now. So I'm pretty much giving it like in between right now, where I have Sinners and Companion. So where I am between there. So.
Oh, really? That was
Yeah.
pretty high.
All right, we're gonna rank the movie now. I will scale it from 1 to 10. 1 being a garbage movie, 10 being a great movie. Abe, how would you like to rank the movie in this?
Oh man, I really want to rate it super higher because of Bob. I hate to like salivate over
Yes.
a character, but I love how they portrayed the character. I love how they tried to squish his backstory in the movie. I
Yeah.
love what they did with him regarding mental health and all those types of issues. But this movie did have some moments where sloppiness occurred. There's a bunch of reshots and re-edits, right?
Yes. Not as much. Not as much as there were
Okay.
for Captain America.
Okay. No, I have to give it like an 8 because I really enjoyed the movie. Like it was a 2 hour movie that did not feel like 2 hours. It felt like 40, maybe just like under an hour.
Okay.
It like flew by, and I was enjoying every minute of it. Um, I understand why they were trying to hype it up so much. It doesn't quite reach that level, which is why I won't go higher than 8. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, it was a fun movie. It was a pretty good movie. The Marvel was released better, obviously. We all know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I rate it about an 8.
8? Okay. I'm going to give it, I'm torn between 7 and 8 right now. I can't remember what I gave Captain America. I gave it a 5 or a 4. Anyways, so what I'm going to give this movie, I'm going to give it a 7. I'm at a 7 rate. Like I said, it's not the best movie I've seen so far this year. You know what? No, scratch that. I'm going to give it a 7.5. I'm going to up 0.5%.
Nice.
The cast did a great job. The message here about mental health was amazing in this movie. It does tee up a lot for the future Avengers, but the movie stands alone too. It's its own movie, its own characters, its own plot, everything, it's its own self. And the movie did a great job of showcasing that. The cinematography was great, the pacing was great, the fight scenes were pretty amazing, stunt work was great in this movie. So yeah, I have a lot of positive things to say. I think mostly the main thing was that, I think there was pretty much some things that were left, kind of little plot holes, some characters that probably could have been taken out of the movie, and the movie would probably been better. You filled in some characters, like the whole death of Taskmaster. Ghost, she didn't really need to be there. The movie could have been just as good with the Winter Soldier. Like I said, Winter Soldier, even Bucky's character seems very just there to be there mostly. So there's some character I think they could have done without, and the movie would have done a lot better, I think, in my opinion.
I agree. They could even cut out Valentina's little sidekick person.
Oh yeah, her whole storyline too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of things going on in the movie, and I think that could have easily been taken out of the movie, and the movie would have been a lot better in my opinion.
Yeah. Cut out the fluff.
Yeah, exactly. Cut out the fluff. All right. Any other thoughts you want to say?
Please go watch it. It's worth your time. It's worth your money. Support mental health awareness.
Yeah.
If you need help, get help. Call somebody.
Put the number down here below so you guys can have that there too. And you know what? Pretty much what I got to say. If you've seen Thunderbolts, let me know what your thoughts were. Did you enjoy the movie? Did you hate the movie? Is Marvel back in form? I guess you could say. Let me know in the comment section down below. And you know what? Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And until next time, guys, this is JD and Gabe. And this is the Figgy Pop Culture Channel.
That concludes a Figgy Pop transmission.
What about Bob?
What
else could you say?
We just saw the Thunderbolts.
And we have some really crazy thoughts about this movie.
I ruined it though.
you found out how you moved over. Do it again. Ready?
We're not gonna do that again.
We just saw the Thunderbolts, and man, we got some thoughts on this movie.
That was very good. It was very good.
heroine. Is that right?
Heroin, yeah.
Yeah, the main heroine in the movie.
Not
And
heroin. Sorry. Oh, he was on meth. You
Go
have to
ahead.
cut this out. I'm sorry.
All right.
Okay, deep breaths. Reset. Also, side note, I like how they never fixed Walker Shield.
Yeah, no, it's still folded because in one scene where when he's fighting the sentry pushes his shield, like folds it in half, and pretty much Walker has a folded shield for the rest of the movie.
I know. He still uses it too.
Yeah.
But anyways,